Yeah, you don't know all the shit that I've been through, all the pain and the struggle that I lived through. Now I'm rolling up these papers that I smoke through, thinking about all the shit that I've been through. You don't know all the shit that I've been through, all the pain and the struggle that I lived through. Now I'm rolling up these papers that I smoke through, thinking about all the shit that I've been through. Now I'm sipping on this whiskey, got one chance and it's risky, so you can't play around. And I got my team behind me like a background. I don't never back down, picking up the slack now. Now I'm focused, keep on grinding for my stacks now. I'm feeling lost in this ocean, where's a lighthouse? I keep on swinging for the fence and I ain't strike out. And yeah, that's how I'm feeling, yeah, that's how I'm feeling now. We're not here for a long time, yeah. It's 9 to 5, it's a long grind, yeah. A ladder to success, it's a long climb, yeah. Now I'm sitting here making up for time, yeah. Man, I took so many losses that I lost count. I didn't know what I was made of, but I found out. And this life will blindside, you better look out. These haters wanna see you fall and get you took out, yeah. Cause I fell on my face, and this life is a race. I keep on checking my place. Now I'm riding for my team, you can tell by my plates. And this life just threw a hook, it caught me right in the face. But I'm getting back up, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll climb a couple of mountains, I'll swim a couple of lakes. Don't got time for the bitching, don't got time for complaints. Now you going through some shit, now tell me, how does it taste? You don't know all the shit that I've been through, all the pain and the struggle that I lived through. Now I'm rolling up these papers that I smoke through, thinking about all the shit that I've been through. You don't know all the shit that I've been through, all the pain and the struggle that I lived through. Now I'm rolling up these papers that I smoke through, thinking about all the shit that I've been through. Now I'm living with my choices, I just own my mistakes. Cause I'm screaming fucking hand out, I ain't searching for breaks. But I'm barely treading water and this life is the lake. Now the pressure keeps on building as I'm raising the stakes. I ain't looking for advice, now I'm looking for space. Now I'm dealing with these losses, but I know I hate the taste. Now I'm sitting back, I'm thinking as I smoke it to the face. Now it's time for these apologies, the time it's too late. So bygones be bygones, I'm on business with a tie on. So fuck a shoulder to cry on, I'ma get a hoppin' like Zion. Let's raise a glass, I'll toast that. Reminisce, we roast that. How I wrote them and ain't wrote back. I'm never flimsy, the goat's backs. I don't feel bad, no not at all. When a lot of years, write a lot of calls, a lot of birthdays without a call. Ain't got time for that, so fuck a fraud. You ain't there for me, I ain't there for you. You won't bleed for me, I won't bleed for you. All the hard times I lived through, keep moving, gotta get through. I got goals and cash I gotta get to, all these memories that I flipped through. If you can't relate, then don't judge. I'll stand my ground, I won't budge. I'm sitting back cause I burn buds, I swear to God this life's good. You don't know all the shit that I've been through, all the pain and the struggle that I lived through. Now I'm rolling up these papers that I smoke through, thinking about all the shit that I've been through. You don't know all the shit that I've been through, all the pain and the struggle that I lived through. Now I'm rolling up these papers that I smoke through, thinking about all the shit that I've been through. Yeah, you don't know all the shit that I've been through, all the pain and the struggle that I lived through. Now I'm rolling up these papers that I smoke through, thinking about all the shit that I've been through. You don't know all the shit that I've been through, all the pain and the struggle that I lived through. Now I'm rolling up these papers that I smoke through, thinking about all the shit that I've been through. Now I'm sipping on this whiskey, got one chance and it's risky, so you can't play around. And I got my team behind me like a background. I don't never back down, picking up the slack now. Now I'm focused, keep on grinding for my stacks now. I'm feeling lost in this ocean, where's a lighthouse? I keep on swinging for the fence and I ain't strike out. And yeah, that's how I'm feeling, yeah, that's how I'm feeling now. We're not here for a long time, yeah. It's 9 to 5, it's a long grind, yeah. A ladder to success, it's a long climb, yeah. Now I'm sitting here making up for time, yeah. Man, I took so many losses that I lost count. I didn't know what I was made of, but I found out. And this life will blindside, you better look out. These haters wanna see you fall and get you took out. Yeah, cause I fell on my face. And this life is a race. I keep on checking my place. Now I'm riding for my team, you can tell by my plates. And this life just threw a hook, it caught me right in the face. But I'm getting back up, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll climb a couple of mountains, I'll swim a couple of lakes. Don't got time for the bitching, don't got time for complaints. Now you going through some shit, now tell me how does it taste? You don't know all the shit that I've been through, all the pain and the struggle that I lived through. Now I'm rolling up these papers that I smoke through, thinking about all the shit that I've been through. You don't know all the shit that I've been through, all the pain and the struggle that I lived through. Now I'm rolling up these papers that I smoke through, thinking about all the shit that I've been through. Now I'm living with my choices, I just own my mistakes. Cause I'm screaming fucking hand down, I ain't searching for breaks. But I'm barely treading water and this life is the lake. Now the pressure keeps on building as I'm raising the stakes. I ain't looking for advice, now I'm looking for space. Now I'm dealing with these losses, but I know I hate the taste. Now I'm sitting back, I'm thinking as I smoke it to the face. Now it's time for these apologies, the time is too late. So bygones be bygones, I'm on business with a tie on. So fuck a shoulder to cry on, I'ma get a hoppin' like Zion. Let's raise a glass, I'll toast that. Reminisce, we roast that. How I wrote them and ain't wrote back. I'm never flimsy, the goat's backs. I don't feel bad, no not at all. With a lot of years, write a lot of calls, a lot of birthdays without a call. Ain't got time for that, so fuck a fraud. You ain't there for me, I ain't there for you. You won't bleed for me, I won't bleed for you. All the hard times I lived through, keep moving, gotta get through. I got goals and cash I gotta get to, all these memories that I flipped through. If you can't relate, then don't judge. I'll stand my ground, I won't budge. I'm sitting back cause I burn buds, I swear to God this life's good. You don't know all the shit that I've been through, all the pain and the struggle that I lived through. Now I'm rolling up these papers that I smoke through, thinking about all the shit that I've been through. You don't know all the shit that I've been through, all the pain and the struggle that I lived through. Now I'm rolling up these papers that I smoke through, thinking about all the shit that I've been through.
Hello, everyone.
You.
Welcome to Boss
What's up,
Squad's Think
Thanks
Tank.
for showing love of the song, man. Appreciate it as always, guys. Go stream that. Boss, you the fucking man.
Thank you, Paul. Hey, everybody, make sure you guys check out Paul_P_music on Instagram. If you want to hear more of the intro song we played, Living Through, make sure you guys check him out on Instagram and Spotify. The song is now available.
Yeah, bro, it's been doing really well actually overseas, but it's got like over 800 streams in Finland. Who would have thought?
That's awesome. That's phenomenal. You want to know what? That means that we got a lot of European apes that have been listening and watching the channel, brother.
Bro, Finland and Minnesota is the two biggest cities for that song. I don't know if you guys have anything to do with that, but pretty crazy.
I don't know. I'm not sure either, but we're going to do our best to try to get it out there because I love that song. Paul P. Paul_P_music.
Yeah, I got it. So far it's boss, big thanks to you, man. You put it out there and put a battery in my back to even push my music again. But it's just got like 1,500 streams in like under 2 weeks, and I got another song dropping on the 13th too. So Yeah, big shout out to you, man, for putting the battery in the back and you guys giving me the good vibes, man.
Appreciate that, brother. Hope all is well at home. Also, I'd like to thank all 20,000 of you beautiful red-pilled subscribers for joining us and making the think tank even more, special, and helping to spread the awareness of the financial issues that are happening all around the world right now. Looks like the FOMC meeting minutes were released today as well. Welcome to Boss Blunt's Think Tank. This video is the next in a series looking at the financial and macro implications of the United States' decisions to sanction foreign oil. So far, the United States has sanctioned Russian oil, which has led to the highest imports of Russian oil consumption by Germany since 2014, as United States refineries are unable to meet demand. Meanwhile, oil prices continue to plummet on recession fears, just like in 2008, when oil went into negative territory in early 2009. Today, the United States Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control has sanctioned an international network of individuals and entities that has used a web of Gulf-based front companies to facilitate the delivery and sale of hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Iranian petroleum and petrochemical products from Iranian companies to East Asia. The Secretary of the Treasury for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence said, "The United States is committed to achieving an agreement with Iran that seeks a mutual return to compliance with the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. We will continue to use all our authorities to enforce sanctions on the sale of Iranian petroleum and petrochemicals." Today's action is being taken pursuant to Executive Order 13846 and follows OFAC's June 16, 2022 designations of International Sanctions Evasion Network supporting Iranian petrochemical sales. Concurrently with these Treasury designations, the Department of State imposed sanctions on 5 entities based in Iran, Vietnam, and Singapore, and 2 vessels pursuant to Executive Order 13846 in connection with significant transactions for the sale and transport of petroleum products from Iran. Iran-based JAM Petrochemical Company, JPC, has exported hundreds of thousands of metric tons of petrochemical products. That are worth hundreds of millions of dollars to companies throughout East Asia. Many of these products were sold to Iranian-based petrochemical commercial company known as PCC for onward shipment to the PRC, People's Republic of China. JAM Petrochemical Company has aided PCC in facilitating the use of bank accounts and companies in order to obfuscate the shipment and sale of Iranian origin petrochemicals. By these means, in mid to late 2021, JPC sold hundreds of thousands of metric tons of petrochemicals worth millions of dollars to PCC with the intent to deliver the goods to the People's Republic of China and the Philippines. And as we know, combined with other sanctions that have gone up against the People's Republic of China, such as Executive Order 14032 and 13959 as amended, the military companies and companies that finance the People's Republic of China are being fiercely sanctioned, much in the same way that the United States sanctioned Russia. PCC was identified pursuant to Executive Order 13599 on November 5th of 2018 as being wholly owned by the government of Iran. JAM Petrochemical Company is being designated pursuant to Executive Order 13846 for having materially assisted, sponsored, or provided financial material or technological support for or goods or services in support of Iran Petrochemical Commercial Company. In addition, we've got Edgar Commercial Solutions, FZE, which has purchased and exported hundreds of millions of dollars worth of petrochemical products from numerous sanctioned Iranian companies, including Persian Gulf Petrochemical Industry Company, PGPICC, and Arya Sisal Polymer Company for onward shipment to the PRC. Edgar Commercial Solutions used Hong Kong-based front company Lustro Industry Limited to disguise its role in the bulk purchase of petrochemical products from this company to JPC. Through Lustro Industry Limited, Edgar Commercial Solutions has remitted millions of dollars to Oligai International Trading Company Limited, which is a PGPICC front company. Basically, a fake company, a shell company designed to funnel and launder money and goods. PGPICC was designated pursuant to Executive Order 13382 on July 7th, 2019, for being owned or controlled by Persian Gulf Petrochemical Industry Company, PGPIC. They were designated pursuant to Executive Order 13382 that same day for having provided financial support to Khatam al-Anbiya, the engineering conglomerate of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Edgar Commercial Solutions, Lustro Industry Limited, and Oligai International Trading Company are being designated pursuant to this Executive Order 13846 on or after November 5th, 2018 for having materially assisted, sponsored, and provided financial, material, or technological support for goods and services of the PGPICC, which is the Persian Gulf Petrochemical Industry Company. Therefore, we've got a plethora of companies throughout the Persian Gulf and the Middle East involved with Iran, the People's Republic of China, and many other companies that have sent and received tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of payments related to the sale and purchase of Iranian petroleum products, including gasoline and naphtha. Al-Mutawa Petroleum and Petrochemical Trading, LLC. One of their main customers is UAE-based Petrokick LLC, which has purchased tens of millions of dollars worth of Iranian petroleum products from the company. Petrokick has also purchased millions of dollars worth of oil products from Bahrain Oil for onward shipment to the UAE. They've also sold hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Iranian oil products that have been shipped to the UAE. Wow. But wait, there's more. Trilliance was designated pursuant to the same Executive Order 13846 on January 23rd of 2020 for having materially assisted and provided financial, material, technological support for the National Iranian Oil Company. What happened to the Iran oil deal? Where's the Iran nuclear talks here? Bahrain Oil was designated pursuant to Executive Order 13876 for being owned or controlled directly or indirectly by Bonyad Mostazafan, a business empire owned by the supreme leader and designated pursuant to the executive order. Aliyam Tulawa Petroleum and Petrochem Trading was also designated, as well as Trilliance and Petrokick LLC for supporting Bahrain Oil. Since 2019, UAE-based Iranian nationals have partnered to export Iranian crude oil and petrochemical products on behalf of Swiss-based Naftiran Intertrade Company, NICO, the marketing arm of NICO through companies and vessels under their control. Morteza Rajabslami owns an extensive network of companies engaged in refining, energy trading, shipping, and bunkering, which have facilitated the shipment of thousands of metric tons of fuel oil worth millions of dollars from Iran. These companies have been involved in contracts valued in the tens of millions of dollars related to the sale of petroleum products from Nico. Sanchuli, an experienced petroleum sales facilitator who served as representative of UAE-based companies Petrogat FZE and Emerald Global FZE, has purchased from Nico shipments of crude oil worth tens of millions of dollars. Sanchuli paid Nico tens of millions of dollars on behalf of Petrogat FZE to facilitate multiple shipments of oil from Iran to East Asia for the benefit of Nico. Nico was identified pursuant to Executive Order 13599 on November 26th of 2008 for being owned or controlled by the government of Iran. As a result of today's actions, all property and interest in property of these targets that have been named are in the United States or in possession or control of the United States persons must be blocked and reported to OFAC. Very similar to the sanctions implemented against Russian oil and People's Republic of China military companies and companies that finance the PRC. In addition, any entities that are owned directly or indirectly, 50% or more by one or more blocked persons, are also blocked. OFAC's regulations generally prohibit all dealings by U.S. persons or within the United States, including transactions transiting the United States, that involve any property or interests in property of blocked or designated persons. In addition, persons that engage in certain transactions with the individuals and entities designated today may themselves be exposed to sanctions or subject to enforcement action. Unless an exception applies, any foreign financial institution that knowingly facilitates a significant transaction for any of the individuals or entities designated could be subject to United States sanctions. Let's take a look at oil and see what's currently happening with oil markets. Currently, the United States and G7 are discussing capping Russian oil prices at $40 to $60, a move which could send oil soaring up to $380. Iran has cut oil. Let me change my screen for you guys. Iran cuts oil prices to compete with Russia in China. Iran, which is subject to U.S. sanctions, has been forced to lower its already cheap crude prices to $10 a barrel below Brent futures, compared with a $5 to $6 discount in February. The oil cap is simple in theory. The G7 will refuse to provide insurance to any vessel that carries Russian oil unless the cargo is sold with an agreed price cap. Yet, it won't work, and it will just push oil prices higher. Russia will never agree. China and India will never agree. Russia and China may offer their own insurance underwriting services at the drop of a hat, at the snap of a finger, which would force the West into physically blocking cargoes and confronting China militarily as a Russian oil-carrying ship is stopped in the U.S. Plus, the G7 are already not taking Russian oil. They are taking Russian oil from India and China that is being sold. And it appears that some of the brightest and some of the stupidest people on earth have figured it out. Last Thursday, reports from Reuters stated that, according to EU officials, the biggest price cap proponents, the governments of Germany and other European Union countries voiced caution in a closed-door meeting about price caps on Russian oil. a day after the group of 7 economic powers agreed to urgently start working on the matter. The leaders of G7 agreed to explore the feasibility of introducing temporary import price caps on Russian fossil fuels, oils, and tasked ministers to evaluate the proposal. But just one day later, Germany's envoy told the EU that his counterparts in a restricted meeting that the world should be realistic about the proposal, which he said was added to the G7 statement after intense pressure from Washington. One moment, please. I'm going to switch over. There are too many people joining and leaving that particular chat, so I've got to leave. The envoy from Germany said an agreement on whether to apply caps was not expected to come anytime soon, or any time at all, for that matter, as it is impossible. Impossible, said the German envoy. Then there are the holdouts, like Hungary and Belgium, which also raised concerns about the meeting that the G7 statement on sanctions would have, with Hungary explicitly backing Berlin's caution on oil price caps. A second EU official familiar with the talks confirmed that Germany and others had expressed wariness about oil price caps. It would have probably been prudent to quietly let this idea die, but European politicians, being European politicians, continued onwards, along with Biden and the Democratic Party. This idiotic proposal refuses to die, and according to Bloomberg, which cites people familiar with the matter, say that the White House and G7 allies have discussed trying to cap the price on Russian oil between $40 to $60 a barrel. More specific threshold would depend on market conditions when a cap is agreed, and those could change significantly. Before Monday's mini rout in headline oil prices, Russian crude was probably trading around the $80 a barrel mark. Information about transactions in the nation's barrels has become less visible since the invasion. However, here is a chart showing the prices, as a matter of fact. The Russian oil price proxy is well above the U.S. cap range. And even though Russia is trading its oil at a discount to China and India, they were not doing so prior to these sanctions. Therefore, the Nord Stream 1 pipeline, which has been shut down, and westward flows of oil have been basically almost completely shut off from Russia to the neighboring countries. They continue to trade more oil than ever with countries like China and India. Not only will Russia never agree to voluntarily curbing its output of oil, but China and India will also decline this proposal. The simplest reason why Russian oil can't be capped is because Europe itself does not really want this proposal to pass, because it will incentivize Russia to simply shutter up to 5 million barrels of oil output, sending oil price orders of magnitude even higher. The good news is that, JP Morgan explained, and I quote, "The U.S. is concerned that the European ban as is, which in the EU's case begins to come into force at the end of the year, could contribute to oil prices spiking even further to as high as $185 a barrel, according to some estimates, and potentially could lead to a global recession." Let's take a look at this post from Mohammed Al-Arian. I noticed it a little while ago, and you can see that the sharp fall in oil prices continues today. Overall, softening demand is greatly due to the recession fears that are finally being faced and have not yet been priced in by stock markets. You heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. It's not priced in. See, JP Morgan went on to explain that a price threshold set too low would simply result in Russia halting their output to those European countries. In fact, according to JP Morgan's commodities team, given the high levels of stress in the oil market, a cut of 3 million barrels per day could cause global Brent price to jump to $190 a barrel, while the most extreme scenario of a 5 million barrel per day slash in production of Russian oil could drive oil prices to a stratospheric $380 a barrel, end quote. In other words, the surest way to see oil soar to a record high is for the G7 and Biden to set a price ceiling of $40 to $60 for Russian oil. And judging by the stupidity of our politicians around the world and how amazingly Russian sanctions have backfired, it would not be surprising if this proposal actually were to pass, triggering the biggest surge in oil prices in history.
So in other words, Europe is running out of fuel.
Europe's running out of fuel. They're running out of heating oil. They're running out of natural gas and propane, petroleum jelly, and everything else they're going to need to rub on their asshole as they get fucked by their very own sanctions.
And their manufacturing is crashing.
Exactly right. Meanwhile, the United States and Europe do not have anywhere near the refinery capacity to make up for the current status in oil production and the lack of refining abilities, let alone a further reduction of 3 to 5 million barrels per day would cause catastrophic prices in the oil markets that would collapse global economies.
And Saudi Arabia looking to join BRICS.
That's right. We've got now Saudi Arabia and Argentina are looking to join BRICS. We might as well call that BRICS Plus at this point, because BRICS is getting bigger and bigger, and America and the EU are getting left out in the cold by their very own doing. So in reality, no one knows exactly which way oil will go first. Oil could skyrocket and then plummet once a recession is actually priced in. It could absolutely plummet and go negative like it did in 2008 and 2009 when oil barrels were selling for negative $37 a barrel. We are not sure, as we cannot read the future, but there's only a few outcomes, and they're all catastrophic.
And it's all derivatives.
Again, all derivatives. Absolutely.
No supply and demand.
It's a very good point. I got to show this to you guys here. Check this out. This is oil prices versus inflation. As you can see, the blue line is inflation, and the black line is spot crude oil prices, WTI. Look at how diverged they were, inflation from oil prices, back in the 80s, during the Iranian Revolution, Libya's bombing, and then it seems that they converged here throughout Libya's bombing in 85, Iraq invasion of Kuwait in the 90s, the heating oil shortage in 95, the USS Cole bombing in 2000, and the ongoing second Gulf War supply shortage. in which the price of oil greatly exceeded the price of inflation and has continued to do so. During the Libyan Revolution and Brexit and the China's trade war. Even still, during peak oil in 2008, when inflation plummeted during the recession, we saw peak oil plummet as well. Currently, during the Russian invasion of Ukraine, we're seeing oil at levels that have not been seen since 2008, even though we are already beginning to see a reduction in oil prices here. Could it be that G7 and Biden are working frantically to try to prevent a collapse in the price of oil? It's all transitory, isn't it?
Yeah, nothing to worry about.
Everything is fine. I want to leave you guys with one thing. This is going to be a shorter video. This is Julian Assange. He said the goal was not to completely subjugate Afghanistan, and he's referencing the United States invasion of Afghanistan. Julian Assange continues to say the goal is to use Afghanistan to wash money out of the tax bases of the United States, out of the tax base of European countries, through Afghanistan, back into the hands of the transnational security industry. Very similar to what we're seeing right now happening with Ukraine. Ukraine is America's money laundering playground. It is America's Pentagon-sponsored biolaboratories in which 36 United States-owned, Pentagon-owned, on paper, this is factual, biolaboratories are being used in order to create more deadly weapons, just like the Wuhan lab in China was used to create COVID-19 and set it upon the world.
Money laundering capital of the world.
Absolutely. And one more thing. I want to remind you guys of what Biden said on March 26th. He said, as a result of our unprecedented sanctions, the ruble was almost immediately reduced to rubble. The Russian economy is on track to be cut in half. It was ranked the 11th biggest economy, and soon it will not even rank amongst the top 20. That was March 26th, 2022. The date today is July 6th, 2022, and the Russian ruble is at its strongest that it has been in many, many years, because these sanctions have completely and utterly backfired in the face of the United States and the rest of the European Union. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, if you're properly hedged in stocks that run inverse to the market and can manage to hold on long enough to watch this disgusting financial collapse and abuse of power play out, which, in my opinion, is an inevitability, then, well, we're going to be so fucking rich. Just don't dance. Just don't fucking dance.
Oh, goddamn rich.
So
Filthy
fucking rich.
fucking rich.
Have a great day, everybody. I wish you peace and wealth.
J Squad.
And be so goddamn rich. Peace out.
I think it's time to blow this thing. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Be fucking rich. I want my fucking money. Griffin, I want my fucking money. Yo, motherfucker. Fuck. God, we're so fucked. These guys are so stupid. Fucking Biden. Jesus Christ. Christ. What a fucking piece of shit.
It is.
Complete fucking moron. I cannot stress just how poorly they are running our country into the fucking ground. I never thought I would want to leave the United States of America. Never in my fucking life. And I am ready to fucking go. Ready to fucking go. I'm not even kidding. This is absolutely insane. Have a great day, everybody.
Listen, I want my fucking money.
You're an original,
Hey,
aren't you?
Yellen, cowboy, give me the fucking money.
I really doubt that we're going to see an inflationary cycle.
Most economic analysts believe that it will have a temporary or transitory impact.
The faster than expected increase in some of those prices is actually a good sign.
The overwhelming consensus is going to pop up a little bit and then go back down.
Yeah.
No one's talking
transitory.
About this great,
This is something that will settle down.
Transitory.
And the data shows that most of the price increases we've seen were expected and are expected to be temporary. There's nobody suggesting there's not such inflation on the way. It's highly unlikely that's going to be long-term inflation that's going to get out of hand. I don't know anybody who's worried about inflation.
Over the last couple of months,
we don't know me.
We actually saw it trended downward.
President Biden's chief of staff, Ron Klain, enthusiastically retweeted an economist who had said in part most of the economic problems we're facing, inflation, supply chains, etc., are high-class problems.
What is the Granholm plan to increase oil production in America?
Oh my God.
Bitch has no answer.
That is hilarious. Well, the
there's
number
none.
one
There's no
thing
answer.
that the
It
president
can't
can
happen.
do is help get COVID under control. That we know is the root cause of inflation.
President Biden this afternoon saying he thinks we're at the peak of the crisis right now and that lower prices are on the way.
The inflation has everything to do with the supply chain. Make no mistake, inflation is largely the fault of Putin. I'm going to do everything I can to minimize Putin's price hike here at home.
If you want to get rid of inflation, the only way to do it is to undo a lot of the Trump tax cuts.
I think ever since you've come into office, things are really looking up. You know, gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything.
Yeah, he just claps. What else could he do? Fucking scumbag. Have a great day, everybody. We're gonna be so motherfucking rich. Holy shit. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. Things are gonna get a lot crazier before they get better. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. We're going on a trip on my favorite rocket ship, AMC and GameStop. Precious metals and meme stocks. And riding the VIX to the fucking moon and the SPY to hell. Have a great day, everybody. What a fucking joke of a country.